Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers, and welcome back to the Assembling of a Fleet series. So far we've been destroying ships, we've been building ships, and we've even been talking tactics on how to take over a hostile one. But now we'll be assembling a crew. Now, a ship without a crew is like a gun without a trigger. It's simply not going to work. And if you think you're some sort of one-man army and you can take on the whole of the world, or in this case the whole of the universe, you're completely wrong. People that are teaming up and working together are going to have such an advantage over you. You'll be like living in some sort of space age, stone age compared to them with their technology and the number of ships they can produce. It's just not worth it, and that's why it's worth putting a crew together. So today we're going to build a small 5-man crew with 4 individual roles that are going to benefit you in a survival scenario. So first off, we have the man in charge. Our Captain Kirk, you could say. He's going to lead the operation. He's going to be directing on what to do. Now there's 2 ways you can lead. You can lead in a sort of democracy sort of way, you could say, and that is basically by asking everyone's opinion, seeing what they want to do, and then doing an action based on that. Or you can lead it in a more military way where you just give a directive and then everyone needs to do it, and this way you can actually get a functional build. Now if you look at our Let's Play, for instance, me and Sage do it in a sort of democratic way, and we're always like, oh, I don't know what to build, don't know what to do, and that has really hindered our progress. If we did this in some sort of directive approach, we could have built loads of things by now. So that is why that is important. Now moving on to the second role, that is the second in command. Now his job is his eyes and ears of the crew. He's going to repeat information from the crew members back to the captain, and if the captain goes down, he's going to be taking over command of the ship or the station or whatever he's basically doing. Now we move on to the more logistical based role, and this is the role of the engineer. Now the engineer himself is responsible for collecting resources, making sure there's enough power for the ship, and making sure there's enough supplies for whatever build project the commander has in mind. So say for instance the commander decides to build a small fighter, he needs to work out what components he actually needs and have them ready in the assembler, have them mined, and if he needs help he can request help of the crew members. Now the crew members make up the 2 last roles, and their job is very diverse. One day they could be manning a fighter, the other day they could be helping out the captain with something, or even helping the engineer mining for supplies. Now you keep them on the most important roles possible. You need them to mine, you need them to build, and then you try not to get too distracted. Maybe send one out on the odd recon recce to see what the other guys are doing in your sector where you're actually building, but it doesn't really matter. Now they're the key roles, and hopefully that's given you some idea on how to manage a small man team. Let's move on to survival. So you've started in a survival world. You've either started with the red ship, or you've started on one of the easier worlds with a lot of the items already pre-prepared for you. So the first item you need is to get life support operational, and to get life support operational you need a constant supply of energy, either going to a cockpit or going to something else that you can actually use and monitor. So once you've got that operational, you're pretty much set. You can build and you can start creating whatever you need to do. Now there's 2 options. You build a station or you build a ship. Now the advantage of the ship is it allows you to keep mobile, and if you do happen to bump into quite a hostile enemy at the beginning of the game, it means that you can relocate, move to another place, and that guy's not going to know where you are. If you go down the road of building a station, you're stuck in that one location constantly until you maybe build a ship, and you don't really want to abandon your work if you come under contact and so on, so it's going to be a lot harder. You can't simply just run away until you've got the right gear to actually fight. You have to stand, fight, and try to take over that point and hold that point for as long as possible. So that's something to consider when you're starting survival. So be careful out there, guys, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.